Before you write off your friends as toxic, you really look into why they're toxic to you in particular. Could it be that you've been getting something out of their toxicity? I'm thinking in particular of the real person behind Aldous. In reality, Aldous is the hyper-intelligent and severely depressed brother of my ex-boyfriend, Harry, who is also a real person. Despite coming from much the same area and middle-class delusions as myself, both sets of parents had communist pretensions in their background as an additional bit of spice. They used my home as a stick to beat me with for decades, in reality on the basis that my house was tidier than theirs. It didn't appear to have occurred to them that the mess in their house had accrued as a result of the business their single mother had had to run to keep them in it. They were extremely distressed most of the time. From my perspective, this was because their brains had taken a back seat in favour of the survival of the family in the form of a fairly menial existence. This had meant every bit of pride had been battered out of them in the course of a nasty divorce and caring for their elderly relatives, most unusual in male children and greatly to their detriment because of their age at the time. I could pretend that my own chaotic life had been adversely affected by this. Harry became so fed up with my seemingly endless quest for work after qualifying that he talked me out of applying for any more. As it turned out, my father was becoming ill with dementia at the time, and my mother, a stubborn and very self-centred woman, was refusing to get treatment for the heart problem that eventually caused her stroke. Had I cared about myself a bit more, I would have dumped him, dumped my family, and got myself as far away as possible before things got any worse. It seems to me that had I denounced him as toxic, I would be as big a liar as they all were at the time. Now Aldous, on the other hand, was a close friend for years. Because of his severe depression, I was unaware of mine, and despite my shyness, managed to drag him to many activities that he enjoyed on the basis that I was cheering him up, meaning that I actually enjoyed any time off rather than spending it all servicing my disgraceful family. I was devastated when he finally denounced me on the basis that I was forcing him to enjoy himself. Yeah, this is classic toxicity. A person who rebels against their own happiness is definitely toxic. But what does that mean for you? It certainly doesn't mean that you're doing anything big or clever by dissing them as you wave them goodbye. Like everything else in life, it's a trade-off. And it's almost a certainty that if you weigh up the give and take, you've agreed to be in your toxic relationship, and it's not altogether their fault that everything went wrong. Sometimes relationships get sick without either of you meaning them to at all.